Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are talking right now with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. We're going to get his thoughts on the chances of each of the four teams currently in the college football playoffs. We're going to get his thoughts on the chances each team has to actually win the whole thing. Steve, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me back, Peter.
All right, Steve, we're going to start with Alabama. Before we get your thoughts on Alabama's chances, give a plug for your website, collegefootballwinning.com.
I'd be happy to. At collegefootballwinning.com, all we do is college football betting analysis all year round, including the off season. So college football betting is our sole focus. We're a company founded on making betting recommendations algorithmically, and those algorithmic betting recommendations we call our formula. That formula lifetime is 62.46% against the spread. That's including this season. Speaking of this season, since the third week in September, for all of our betting recommendations, not just the formula, everything that we recommend, we are 62.04% against the spread. Historically, bowl season is our best time of the year. Lifetime of this company, we are 65.17% against the spread during bowl season. In just SBR bowl videos, and Peter, this is my fourth season doing videos with you and with SBR during bowl season. I am, which is to say collegefootballwinning.com, is 15-5-1 against the spread in SBR bowl videos. That's winning at a rate of 75% against the spread. This season, I'm not sure if you mentioned it, I've done 10 videos with you with SBR, 9-1 against the spread, so 90% against the spread in videos with you. We hope people want to come and join us for this bowl season. If they do, they have the option of getting a 100% money-back guarantee on the entire bowl season with us. So go to collegefootballwinning.com. You can put in coupon code SBR10, that's SBR10, and you can get 10% off of any membership that we're currently offering now through the end of bowl season.
All right, Steve, your opinion on who's got possible value here to win the championship based on the current futures odds is probably, there's no one I'd rather be asking this about. Right now, of course, Alabama is the favorite. At Pinnacle, the no-vig market odds are giving them about a 45% chance to win the title. And I'm just thinking, I don't know, who's going to beat them? It seems like maybe, maybe going with the favorite here might be the best way to go. At Pinnacle, you can get the yes at plus 101. So if Alabama has better than a 50% chance of winning the whole thing, then that has a little bit of value.
Interesting. Now, this is definitely going to be more mathematical, what we're doing here, Peter. So, put on your best math hat, take out the calculator, and here we go, really breaking down these odds for Alabama winning the national championship. So, Alabama Crimson Tide, you mentioned this, the shortest odds of the four to win the national championship. But the question that we wrote, and this is an article that I wrote for SBR, and this is the attendant video that goes with it. Should Alabama be, in fact, should they have the shortest odds? And are those odds worth our taking a futures bet on the Crimson Tide this bowl season? Well, so we're looking for value, of course, as we always do. We are using, for the article and for the purposes of this video, I used William Hill's futures numbers here on this national championship. And they have Alabama at 105-1, so that basically to win the national championship. So that if you turn that into a percentage, that's basically like saying they have a 95.24% chance of winning it all. And if you're having trouble getting your head around it, just think of it this way. If there were four equal outcomes, so four teams, and there's not a difference between them, totally neutral field, you would expect and no one's making money, you'd expect the odds to be 4-1. Right? Everyone has an equal chance, four teams. So that would be a 25% chance of winning it all. So that would be 4-1. This is 105-1. It's not even 2-1. So that's how we get to 95.24% chance of Alabama winning it all, according to those current odds. So let's break it down. Alabama's first game, it's against Ohio State. Alabama is currently a 9.5-point favorite. Well, what I did was I went back and I utilized the last 10 years of college football outcomes, okay, 10 seasons, including this season. And I calculated the actual rate at which 9.5-point favorites won the game outright. So straight up, victors. And the answer is, based on closing line numbers, so 9.5-point favorites, they won the game outright 70.78% of the time. Okay, so let's assume that Alabama achieves that 70.78%, and they beat Ohio State. So in order to win the national championship, they'd have to beat either Florida State or Oregon. So this is where it gets a little more theoretical here. Okay, for this section, here's my disclaimer. For the purposes of the article and this video, we took teams as they are currently instead of attempting to predict what their individual power ratings might be after their first victory in this playoff. So, okay, taking teams as they are, taking Alabama as it is, if they played Oregon for the national championship, we at collegefootballwinning.com, we make Alabama a 5-point favorite. Again, taking teams as they are right now. So if you accept that hypothetical betting line, Alabama's a 5-point favorite over Oregon. Over the past 10 seasons, closing line favorites of 5 points won their games outright, so once again straight up, exactly 61% of the time. So now let's put that together. Calculating the likelihood of victories over Ohio State and Oregon yields an Alabama national championship of around 43.18% of the time, which is roughly 2.3 to 1 odds. Okay, but we're not done. Should Florida State upset Oregon and then Florida State faces Alabama for the national championship, again, taking teams as they are now, not accounting for how the power ratings would change after Florida State pulls off the upset, we made Alabama a 14-point favorite currently over Florida State. Closing line favorites of 14 points over the past 10 seasons, they're straight up winners, so they won the game outright 85.96% of the time. So now calculating the likelihood that Alabama beats Ohio State and then goes on to beat Florida State for the national championship, that would happen about 60.84% of the time, which is roughly 1.65 to 1 odds. Okay, so the final analysis, putting it all together, the different scenarios, given that Florida State is a 9.5-point underdog to Oregon, means that there's a 70.78% chance that Alabama, if they beat Ohio State, would face Oregon in the national championship. So the ultimate calculation works out like this. Alabama has a 48.34% chance of winning it all, which is roughly 2.05 to 1 odds. So understanding Alabama's national championship odds as I just calculated them means that at current odds, you'd be paying as if Alabama had, as I mentioned in the beginning, a 95.24% chance of total victory, when in reality it looks more like a 48.34% chance. So in real money terms, Peter, for every $100 bet on the actual current odds, $105 would be won. Compare that to what should be won, so what we think are more like the true odds, that would be $205, and you stand to lose $100 for every $100 wagered on Alabama. So the conclusion here, Peter, by our calculations, there is negative value, meaning it's a bad bet, on Alabama for that national championship futures bet at odds any worse than 2.05 to 1. And nobody is offering those odds. So conclusion, you should not bet Alabama. There's negative value taking a futures bet on Alabama for the national championship this season.
Okay, interesting thoughts, Steve.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.